Hi guys, I wanted to talk about a little problem we're having right now. It seems that there's a lot of companies who are in bed with communist China. And so the question is, since China has slowly been buying big in America, dominating the global supply chain in an array of industries, how much, if in fact, does the United States, does China really own? How much of the United States does China really own? This piece was written by Holly McKay of Fox News on June 30th. There's no year, so I'm not sure what year it is. Now, with the coronavirus pandemic, it may have shed light on China's influence in America over the supply chain, including life-saving medicines, technology, and equipment. But some analysts believe that the ongoing crisis lays bare the inroads China has made on U.S. soil. The U.S., the American Security Institute, recently released a report and launched a campaign featuring a billboard in Times Square to draw further attention to the extensive array of sectors the Chinese government and its partners have invested into. But exactly how much does the nation own? China, as far as medicine, produces 97% of the U.S. antibiotics and about 80% of active pharmaceutical ingredients used in American drugs, giving the Chinese Communist Party absolutely control of potentially life-saving medicines. For example, Chinese pharmaceutical companies supply 70% of the world's acetaminophen, commonly used in Tylenol. As far as food, in 2017, the United States imported. My page just left. I don't know what happened. In 2017, as far as food is concerned, the United States imported $4.6 billion in agricultural goods from China, which is also responsible for much of the global supply of soy and pea proteins that are found in nutritional supplements and synthetic meats. A Chinese firm has also purchased Smith Food, the world's largest pork processor and hog producer. Hog. When it comes to education, the Chinese government theft of intellectual property has been an open secret for decades. More recently, U.S. authorities have discovered China is funding American university researchers who don't always disclose these contributions. So they're bribing and giving paybacks to everyone in America that have access to information, to knowledge, to research, and it's never ending. And it's going to be the detriment to our country because people are selling out, they're given into bribes, then it goes to threats, and it goes to technology as well. The manufacturing of smartphones and other household items is heavily reliant on China, which controls most of the rare earth minerals that make those items work. Additionally, China is seeking to build 5G networks in the United States and other Western countries, which could potentially feed personal information and sensitive data to the Communist Chinese Party. They're infiltrating from all orifices. When it comes to media, Chinese firms have bought AMC Entertainment, Legendary Entertainment, and other media companies. Control of 8,000 plus American theater screens and other media platforms allows China to project soft power and block unflattering depictions of the Chinese government from being presented, both in terms of creative production and mass distribution. blocks unflattering depictions of the Chinese government from being presented both in terms of creative production and mass distribution. Citing the nonpartisan economic think tank Paul Institute, the American Security Institute report underscores that Chinese firms and investors own a controlling majority in nearly 2,400 U.S. companies. These include AMC Entertainment, Cyrus Wind Energy, Complete Genomics, Healthcare, First International Oil, Energy, GE Appliances, Technology, IBM, Division, Technology, Legendary Entertainment Group, Entertainment, Motorola Mobility, Technology, Nextier, Automotive, Riot Games Entertainment, which is video games, Smith Foods, Food, Teledyne Continental Motors, and Matatuck Services, Aerospace, Terex Corp, Machinery, Triple H Coal, Mining, Zonair Medical Systems, Healthcare. Under Chinese Communist Party dictatorship, private companies are forced to bend to the government's will, the report states. This is why it's very dangerous and we shouldn't be having any business deals with this communism. A recently passed law in China requires companies to share data with Chinese communist spy agencies if requested. Under Xi Jinping, the Communist Party has returned to being the ultimate authority in business. Writes The Guardian, and Human Rights Watch has written that China is an existential threat to human rights. You bet it is. Look around America right now. Look around. The first priority is to reclaim our critical supply chains so that we can become self-reliant instead of reliant on Chinese government. Absolutely. Will Coggin, managing director of the American Security Institute, told Fox News. The extent of Chinese investment in recent years has also raised red flags around the U.S. national security, around rare earth minerals. They're especially vital not only for high technology products such as smartphones and electric vehicles, but the U.S. frontline weapons, including the F-35 fighter, which requires 920 pounds of rare earth minerals. In 2017, the U.S. produced 0 rare earth minerals. China, on the other hand, accounted for more than 80% of the world's supply. Now, there was also a report that swine flu strain with human pandemic potential was found in more Chinese pigs. So that's a whole other issue. Now, however, the full extent of the Chinese investment as it stands in the U.S. today is far from transparent. Oh, you better believe it. The Chinese have a strong foothold here in the United States, and Chinese firms have access to what seems like an infinite government lending. Yeah, it's infinite. Because we got Biden and people like that. And because the country's goal of world dominance is ingrained into the minds of their business leaders, it means our U.S. dictators have a hard task on their hands when it comes to negotiation. You can't negotiate with these devils. The joke's on you guys. Milos Marasic, an international affairs expert and World Economic Forum and contributor, concurred that while China owns close to $150 billion in U.S. companies, not particularly huge in comparison to the U.S. economy, there is a lot about the available figure that we simply don't know. It's kept from us. The number is very difficult to gauge correctly due to complicated ownership structures that the Chinese sometimes employs. It could be bigger, he surmised, and he's completely correct. Some U.S. lawmakers are pushing back amid the coronavirus fallout, which ignited an initial panic over concerns of critical medical shortages and Beijing's threat to withhold the needed goods. So they'll threaten us anytime they can to have power. But in late May, the Senate unanimously passed the bipartisan Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act in a bid to force foreign companies, with China at the likely forefront, to adhere to the U.S. security law and compels them to be removed from American stock exchanges. The bill, which is yet to move through the House, would necessitate an issuer must make the certification if the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board is unable to audit specific reports because the issuer has retained a foreign public accounting firm not subject to inspection by the board. So now, more than 200 foreign firms, mostly Chinese, with a combined market capitalization of almost $2 trillion, are said to not be meeting this standard. Not shocking. So their stocks are traded, but U.S. investors have limited insight into what is going on internally with the companies. Subsequently, China and other international players would be obligated to accede to an audit that could be reviewed by the Nonpartisan Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, which oversees audits of all U.S. companies that endeavor to raise money in public markets. Chinese companies have been carrying out unchecked reverse mergers for years now, and media influence has been going under the radar for years. Under President Trump, the U.S. was the first to recognize the Chinese Communist Party's nonstop deceits, and now the rest of the world has a clearer picture of China's ambition. And this is correctly true. Now this goes into T-Mobile. Now they may have Communist China on board. If this is the case, I want nothing to do with these companies. And also it goes into Warner Music Group, an IPO that led to $15.3 billion valuation to Tencent. Now, it's the country's leader in music streaming. It's purchased 5.2 of WMG's Class A shares, equating to about 0.8 total of the U.S.-based recorded music industry for $100 million. Also, this pales in comparison to the Tencent-led $3.3 billion purchase of 10% of Universal Music Group. And you know, Tencent already owns 9.1% of music streaming market leader Spotify. And with a stake in WMG and UMG, both Tencent has the potential to build new products and make money not only on Warner or Universal, but signed artists who are listened to in China, but also listeners who stream Led Zeppelin from Los Angeles, or future ventures that either of these label companies pursue in the U.S. and other countries or territories. Tencent Holdings is a Chinese multimedia conglomerate that's also the world's largest video game by revenue. WeChat and other companies make it compelling as a diversified investment in technology and content. Tencent's hit game League of Legends has been going on strong since 2009 and stands a top draw in reports, and the company is also responsible for hugely popular mobile game Honor of Kings. In addition to Tencent's internally produced and operated titles, the company owns substantial stakes in video game publishers including Epic Games, Supercell, Activision Blizzard, and Ubisoft. The announcement comes a day after Chinese internet giant Sina Group, SINA Corp, parent company of the country's Twitter-like platform Weibo, said it's going to be taken private if Chinese search engine Sogu confirms on September 29th it's going to be taken privately by tech giant Tencent in a deal that values the U.S.-listed firm at around $3.5 billion. So, guys, they're infiltrating from every orifice. We need to put a cap on this, just like they're trying to send all these refugees and foreigners into our country to eat up our benefits, so they can start taking over internally with their Antifas and grow their Antifas with these paid domestic terrorists, aka all these foreigners coming into our country. This got to stop. Okay, guys, America needs to be aware of all these companies, that American companies that are doing business with communist China. It has to come to an end. And those who are mayors, governors, representatives, chief of police, all you guys that have allowed this to happen need to be called out, and you need to be held accountable. This is a dire destruction to our country. All right, guys. This is also leading to, if Biden comes close to winning the election through cheating, because we know nobody goes and watches him make his speeches at his rallies. You hear nothing but crickets and echoes. They're going to wage war on us. And there's an informational guide on how they're going to wage war on us, worse than Antifa. They're going to bring it up a notch. So guys, this is all because of all this going on, and Biden, our governors, our mayors sleeping with communist China. Now communist China bought out Hollywood. Let's put a stop on this. Let's put a cap on this. I'm running out of time, guys. So I read this kind of fast, but bear with me. Let's stick together. Let's stand tall. Let's fight for our country. And you guys take care of each other. I'll see you guys in the next video.